Hi friends, welcome back to Simple Sanctuary Garden. My name is Sarah. We're going to be talking about something a little different than normal today because today is the 1-year anniversary of Lucky's, my sweet little white dog right here, her spinal stroke. This is called a spinal stroke, an FTE. It is somewhat common in certain breeds of dogs, not so common in others. Lucky is a Heinz 57, so she probably has one of those breeds in her. But a year ago this weekend, Lucky had a spinal stroke. And in Lucky, like in many dogs, that manifested in her losing the ability to control at first just her 2 front limbs, and then over the course of the next 12 hours, all 4 of her limbs. So she wasn't able to walk, she wasn't able to hold herself up. Hers was not so severe that she lost control of her bowels. That does happen commonly with a spinal stroke. But she did not, which we were pretty thankful for. That made things a lot easier. But what I wanted to share with you today is that, as you can see, Lucky has almost fully, if not totally fully recovered. So if you have recently had a fur baby that has had a spinal stroke, please do not panic. Your dog can fully recover. For most dogs who experience a spinal stroke, it's a one-time thing, so you don't have to be on the lookout for that happening over and over again. It's not always correlated with age. It's not even always correlated with them roughhousing or playing around. It can just happen. So like I said with Lucky, she lost control of all 4 of her limbs. But over the course of the next month and months, not only regained control of those limbs, but was able to get back to her normal self, to run around, to play. We rehabbed her at home. So if your pup has recently had an FTE, please don't feel like you absolutely have to, yep, she's gone. Like you absolutely have to take your pup to the expensive rehabilitation centers. They can be very helpful, and if for us, however, we were able to rehab at home. Honestly, Lucky is not a big fan of strangers, so I don't know how well those would have worked for her. But we rehabbed her at home, and originally what that looked like was me just moving her legs. Ginger, come here, baby. Ginger, come here. I'm gonna show them on your paw. So all that entailed was doing something like this and just moving her arm and paw around so that her muscles didn't necessarily atrophy and that they didn't freeze. Like I said, Lucky also didn't lose control of her bowels, so it was pretty easy to encourage her to go to the bathroom on her own. And the first time she did it was a surprise. So all I did was carry her out to the backyard with me while I was playing around in the garden, and she found a way to hold herself up so that she could go. I have no idea how she did that because she was not able to walk or anything at the time. But she did, and that was the moment where I knew she was going to be okay and we were going to be able to recover. From there, with moving her paws around, it became a thing of just encouraging her to sit up on her own at first. So putting her food just slightly out of reach so she'd have to force those muscles to wake back up. And then as she gained more and more strength back, we were encouraging her to walk, encouraging her to move around, encouraging her to play as much as possible. I say that she's fully recovered because if you didn't know her before the stroke, or actually didn't know her well before the stroke, you would probably have no idea that she'd had one. She even went hiking with my husband and I on the AT earlier this year. She did 6 miles in one day. I was very proud of her. For a now 13-year-old pup, stroke or no, that's impressive. So homegirl is a tough cookie. I just wanted to share this with anybody else whose pup has recently had an FTE or spinal stroke. I know that when Lucky had hers, I was looking around for recovery stories, what to do, how to care for them. And at the time, I didn't have a YouTube channel, so I didn't film really anything that we did to take care of her. But I do hope that this provides some comfort to someone who is sitting in the doggy ER like I was and panicking. A spinal stroke is not the end of the world. It's probably only going to happen once, and your pup is probably going to recover at least a good deal, if not entirely. She's refusing to come back on camera. If you guys found this video helpful, please be sure and hit the thumbs up. And if you'd like to follow along with me and my 2 crazy pups as we play around in the garden, don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. We'll talk soon.